Today I am going to talk about protein deamination, transamination and urea cycle followed by nitrogen balance. Before starting that, we have to know the brief introduction about proteins. Proteins are the most abundant organic compounds and constitute a major part of the body dry weight, that is 10 to 12 kg in adult. All body protein continuously undergo degradation and synthesis. More than half of the protein of the liver and intestinal mucosa are broken down and resynthesized once in 10 days. The rate is lower in muscles and erythrocytes. The protein on degradation release individual amino acids. Protein metabolism is more appropriately learned as metabolism of amino acids. Amino acids contain nitrogen in addition to the carbon, hydrogen and oxygen atoms also found in carbohydrate and fats. And then objective: to understand the amino acid degradation, to learn how urea is synthesized in the body. Third one, to study the process of nitrogen balance. Amino acid pool. The nitrogen or amino acid pool is a grand mixture of amino acids available in the cell derived from dietary source or the degradation of protein. Since proteins and amino acids are not stored in the body, there is a constant turnover of protein. Some proteins are constantly being synthesized while other proteins are being degraded. For example, liver and plasma proteins have a half-life of 180 days or more, while enzymes and hormones may be recycled in a matter of minutes or hours. Each day, some of the amino acids are catabolized, producing energy and ammonia. The ammonia is converted to urea and excreted from the body and represents a drain on the nitrogen pole. A nitrogen balance is achieved by a healthy person when the dietary intake is balanced by the excretion of urea waste. If nitrogen excretion is greater than the nitrogen content in the diet, the person is said to be in negative nitrogen balance. This is usually interpreted as an indication of tissue destruction. If the nitrogen excretion is less than the content in the diet, a positive nitrogen balance exists, indicating the formation of protein. The amino acid pole includes dietary protein and catabolism of amino acids. The next one, catabolism of amino acid nitrogen. In mammalian tissue, the alpha amino group of amino acids derived from the diet or from the tissue protein broken down is ultimately excreted in urine as urea. Several enzymes are involved in the process. Biosynthesis of urea involves 4 processes. First one, transamination. Number 2, oxidative deamination of glutamate. Third one, ammonia transport. Fourth one, reactions of urea cycle. The amino acid metabolism. The amino acids not only functions as energy metabolites but also used as precursors of many physiologically important compounds such as heme, bioactive amines, small peptide, nucleotide and nucleotide coenzymes. In normal human being, about 90% of the energy requirement is met by oxidation of carbohydrate and fats. The remaining 10% comes from the oxidation of carbon skeleton of amino acids. Since the 20 common protein amino acids are distinctive in terms of their carbon skeletons, amino acids require a unique degradative pathway. The degradation of the carbon skeleton of 20 amino acids converge to just 7 metabolic intermediates, namely number 1, pyruvates, 2, acetyl-CoA, 3, acetoacetyl-CoA, 4, alpha-ketoglutarate, 5, succinyl-CoA, 6, fumarate, number 7, oxaloacetate. Alpha-ketoglutarate, succinyl-CoA, fumarate and oxaloacetate can serve as pyruvate precursor for glucose synthesis through gluconeogenesis. Amino acids giving rise to these intermediates are termed as glucogenic. These amino acids degraded to yield acetyl-CoA or acetoacetate are termed as ketogenic, since these compounds are used to synthesize ketone bodies. Some amino acids are both glucogenic and ketogenic. For example, phenylalanine, tyrosine, tryptophan and threonine. The product ammonia is excreted as always removal of its after conversion to urea or other product, and the carbon skeleton is degraded to carbon dioxide releasing as energy. First one, deamination. The citric acid cycle is not only a pathway for oxidation of two carbon units, it is also as a major pathway for interconversion of metabolites arising from transamination and deamination of amino acids. It also provides the substrate for amino acid synthesis by transamination as well as for gluconeogenesis and fatty acid synthesis, because its function is both oxidative and synthetic process. It is amphibolic. Deamination is the process by which amino acids are broken down if there is an excess of protein intake. Deamination is the removal of amine group from the molecule. Enzymes that catalyze this reaction is called deaminases. In the human body, deaminases takes place primarily in the liver. However, glutamate is also deaminated in the kidneys. The amino group is removed from the amino acids and converted to ammonia. Ammonia is toxic to the human system, and the enzymes converted into urea or uric acid by addition of carbon dioxide molecule in the urea cycle, which also takes place in the liver. Urea and uric acid can safely diffuse into the blood and then be excreted in urine. Next one, oxidative deamination. Oxidative deamination occurs primarily on glutamic acid because glutamic acid is the end product of many transamination reactions. During oxidative deamination, an amino acid is converted into corresponding keto acids by the removal of amine functional group as ammonia, and the amine functional group is replaced by the keto group. The ammonia eventually goes into urea cycle. The glutamate dehydrogenase is allosterically controlled by ATP and ADP. ATP acts as an inhibitor, whereas ADP is an activator. During transamination, alpha group of amino acids are transferred to alpha ketoglutarate, forming L-glutamate. These amino groups are next removed from glutamate as ammonia to prepare them for excretion. In hepatocytes, glutamase is transported from the cytosol into mitochondria, where it undergoes oxidative deamination catalyzed by L-glutamate dehydrogenase. It is one of few enzymes that can use either NAD or NADP as cofactor. L-glutamate dehydrogenase is a very active enzyme present in most mammalian tissues in the mitochondrial matrix. The combined action of an aminotransferase and glutamate dehydrogenase is transferred to as transdeamination. A few amino acids bypass the transdeamination pathway and undergo direct oxidative deamination. For example, L-amino acids oxidases of liver and kidney produce ammonia and alpha keto acids directly using FMN as cofactor. FMNH2 is converted to FMN using oxygen and produce hydrogen peroxide, which is decomposed by catalase. The alpha ketoglutarate formed from glutamate deamination can be used in the citric acid cycle for glucose synthesis or for another transamination. The figure shows the reactions involved in the urea cycle. The reactions carried by glutamate dehydrogenase. Glutamate dehydrogenase catalyzes the major reactions that affect net removal of nitrogen from the amino acid spool, which is one of the few enzymes that can be used as NAD or NADP as cofactor. Oxidation at the alpha carbon is followed by hydrolysis releasing NH4+. This enzyme is allosterically inhibited by GTP and ATP. The direction of the reactions depends on the relative concentration of glutamate, alpha ketoglutarate and ammonia, and the ratio of oxidized to reduced coenzymes. For example, after injection of a meal containing protein, glutamate levels in the liver are elevated and the reactions proceed in the directions of amino acid degradation and the formation of ammonia. allosteric regulators. Guanine triphosphate and ATP are allosteric inhibitors of glutamate dehydrogenase, whereas adenosine diphosphate is an activator. When energy levels are low in the cell, amino acid degradation by glutamate dehydrogenase is high, facilitating energy production from the carbon skeleton derived from amino acids. The next one, non-oxidative deamination. It occurs in both liver and kidney. The amino group of hydroxy amino acids as serine, threonine and hydroxyproline are enzymatically removed. This has low value in deamination mechanisms. Amino acids such as serine, histidine are deaminated non-oxidatively. The other reactions involved in the catabolism of amino acids are decarboxylation, transsulfuration, desulfuration, dehydration, etc. The another reactions is transamination. Is a chemical reactions between two molecules. One is an amino acid which contains amine group. The other is keto acid which contains keto group. In transamination, the NH2 group on one molecule exchanged with the keto group of the other molecule. The amino acid becomes a keto acid and the keto acid becomes an amino acid. This reaction uses pyridoxal phosphate as coenzyme. The product usually are either alanine, aspartate or glutamate, since their corresponding alpha keto acids are produced through metabolism of fuel. Serine and threonine are the only two amino acids that do not always undergo transamination, rather than use serine or threonine dehydrogenase. The figure explains the transamination reactions. Decarboxylation. The decarboxylation process is important since the product of decarboxylation reaction gives rise to physiologically active amines. The enzymes amino acid decarboxylase or pyridoxal phosphate dependent enzymes. Pyridoxal phosphate forms a Schiff base with the amino acid so as to stabilize carbon formed by the cleavage bond between carboxyl and alpha keto acids. The physiologically active amines epinephrine, norepinephrine, dopamine atom, aminobutyrate and histidine are formed through decarboxylation of alpha serotonin, the corresponding precursors of amino acids. Formation and transport of ammonia. The amino groups of most amino acids are ultimately transferred to alpha ketoglutarate by transamination. Release of this nitrogen as ammonia is catalyzed by L-glutamate dehydrogenase, which is widely distributed in mammalian tissues. The figure explains the conversion of glutamate to alpha ketoglutarate. Glutamate dehydrogenase uses NADS or NADP as co-substrate. The reaction is reversible. Intestinal bacteria produce ammonia from the dietary protein as well as from the urea present in fluids secreted into gastrointestinal tract. This ammonia is absorbed from the intestine into portal vein blood. Under normal conditions, the liver promptly removes the ammonia from the portal blood. Ammonia is produced in the kidney from intracellular amino acids. Glutamine is catalyzed by renal glutaminase. Ammonia production by the kidney is highly increased in metabolic acidosis and depressed in alkalosis. Ammonia is present only in traces in blood, that is 10 to 20 microgram per 100 ml, because it is rapidly removed from the circulation by the liver and converted to glutamine or urea. Synthesis of urea. The figure shows the urea cycle includes 5 reactions. The urea cycle, also known as ornithine cycle, is a cycle of biochemical reactions occurring in many animals that produce urea from ammonia. This cycle was the first metabolic cycle discovered by Hans Crux and Kurt Enselt in 1932. 5 years before the discovery of TCA cycle, in mammals, the urea cycle takes place primarily in the liver and to lesser extent in the kidney. The urea cycle consists of 5 reactions, 2 mitochondrial and 3 cytosolic. The cycle converts 2 amino groups, one from NH4 plus and one from aspartic acid, and a carbon atom from bicarbonate HCO3 to the relatively non-toxic excretion product urea at the cost of 4 high energy phosphate, 3 ATP hydrolase to 2 ADP and 1 AMP. Ornithine is a carrier of these carbon and nitrogen atoms. First one, reactions of urea cycle. The overall reaction, ammonia plus carbon dioxide plus aspartate plus 3 ATP plus 2H2O, it gives urea plus fumarate plus 2 ADP plus 2 PI plus AMP plus an inorganic phosphate. Since fumarate is obtained by removing ammonia from aspartate by means of reactions 3rd and 4th, and inorganic phosphate plus water to 2 inorganic phosphorus is the equation simply as follows: 2 ammonia plus carbon dioxide plus 3 ATP plus water, it gives urea plus 2 ADP plus 4 PI plus AMP. The reactions related to the urea cycle also cause the production of 2 NADH, so the urea cycle releases slightly more energy than it consumes. These NADH are produced in 2 ways. One NADH molecule is reduced by the enzyme glutamate dehydrogenase in the conversion of glutamate to ammonium and alpha ketoglutarate. Glutamate is the non-toxic carrier of amine groups. This provides ammonium ion used in the initial synthesis of carbamyl phosphate. The fumarate released in the cytosol is converted to malate by cytosolic fumarase. This malate is then converted to oxaloacetate by cytosolic malate dehydrogenase, generating a reduced NADH in the cytosol. Oxaloacetate is one of the keto acids preferred by transaminases, so it will be recycled to aspartate, maintaining the flow of nitrogen into the urea cycle. The 2 NADH produced can provide energy for the formation of 4 ATPs, provide only 1.5 ATP due to the glycerol 3-phosphate shuttle, transfer the electrons from which cytosolic NADH to FADH and gives 1.5 ATP. The net production of 1 high energy phosphate bond for the urea cycle. However, gluconeogenesis is underway in the cytosol. The later reducing equivalent is to drive the reversal of the GAPDH step instead of ATP. The fate of oxaloacetate is either to produce aspartate via transamination or to be converted to phosphoenol pyruvate, which is a substrate for gluconeogenesis. Uric acid excretion. In animals that excrete urea, water is required to dissolve urea in urine. Actually, urea is natural diuretic which ensures the flow of urine. Animals such as birds and reptiles, which must conserve water, excrete nitrogen as uric acid as a solid mixed with very small amount of water. The conversion of ammonia and the synthesis of uric acid in birds and reptiles is complicated, energy requiring process. In humans, uric acid is not produced from ammonia but is synthesized from adenine and guanine found in various nucleotides. Uric acid is normally excreted in small amounts in the urine of humans. Uric acid concentration may become elevated in kidney tissues and leukemia. Uric acid salts may be deposited in the form of kidney and bladder stone. A painful arthritic disorder called gout results from the deposition of uric acid salts in cartilage in the joints. Gout is probably caused by the variety of inborn errors of metabolism resulting in excessive synthesis of uric acid. Gout can be controlled by diet and or a drug called allopurinol which inhibit the enzyme which produce uric acid. Ammonia excretion. Animals such as fish that lives in the water excrete ammonia. However, even fish do not have large concentration of ammonia in the blood because it is excreted as a amide in glutamine. Glutamine is a carrier to a membrane in the gills near the surrounding of water, where a hydrolysis of glutamine to glutamic acid leads the ammonia. Human also excretes small amount of ammonia, which is converted by the acid in the urine to ammonium ions. Ammonia is excreted only as a defense against an acidosis condition, because neutralization of acid is by ammonia has the effect of conserving bases in the blood. Nitrogen balance. Nitrogen balance is defined as the quantitative difference between the nitrogen intake and nitrogen output. Both are expressed as grams nitrogen per day. Intake means the nitrogen of the food, and output means the excretion of nitrogen in urine, feces, milk, sweat, menstrual fluid, and loss of air. Nitrogen is a fundamental component of amino acids, which is the molecular building block of protein. Therefore, measuring nitrogen inputs and losses can be used to study the protein metabolism. Positive nitrogen balance is associated with periods of growth, hypothyroidism, tissue repair, and pregnancy. This means that the intake of nitrogen into body is greater than the loss of nitrogen from the body. So, there is an increase in the total body pool of protein. Negative nitrogen balance is associated with burns, serious tissue injuries, fever, hyperthyroidism, wasting disease, and during a period of fasting. This means that the amount of nitrogen excreted from the body is greater than the amount of nitrogen injected. A negative nitrogen balance can be used as a part of clinical evaluation of malnutrition. Nitrogen balance is the traditional method of determining dietary protein requirements. Determining dietary protein requires using nitrogen balance require that the all nitrogen input and losses are carefully collected to ensure that all nitrogen exchange is accounted for to control nitrogen input and losses. Nitrogen balance studies usually require participants to eat very specific diet. So, total nitrogen intake is known and to stay in the body location for the duration of the study. Because of this condition, it can be difficult to study the dietary protein requirements of certain population using nitrogen balance technique. For example, children. There are 3 stages of nitrogen balance: negative, positive, and equilibrium. Number 1, positive. This is the optimal state for muscle growth, where the nitrogen intake is greater than the nitrogen output. Essentially, it shows the body as sufficiently recovered from its lost workout. The greater the nitrogen balance, faster is workout recovery. This is the body anabolic state. Number 2, negative. This is the worst state or bodybuilder can find themselves in, where nitrogen loss is greater than nitrogen intake. Not only is the nitrogen drawn away from the muscle where it is needed for growth, it is also taken from the vital organ where serious damage can occur. Of course, negative nitrogen balance also destroy muscle and consequently considered as catabolic state. Number 3, equilibrium. This state should be what a body filter might achieve at the very minimum, where nitrogen intake and loss are equal. The trainer in this state is not regressing, nor they are really gaining any appreciable muscle. If an individual has a negative nitrogen balance, that person nitrogen output is greater than its nitrogen input, because protein is the only macronutrient containing a nitrogen molecule. A negative nitrogen balance can be sign of inadequate protein consumption and malnutrition. An individual has a positive nitrogen balance, it means that person is consuming more protein than his body needs. This is an ideal state for athletes and body filter, because the extra protein will most likely contribute to muscle growth. Excess protein can also help athletes and bodybuilders recover faster from workout. If an individual nitrogen balance has reached a state of equilibrium, it means that person is excreting about the same amount of nitrogen as is taking in. This is generally a normal state of affairs for healthy adult eating a balanced diet. Most people don't usually need to consume the high level of protein that bodybuilders and athletes often need to grow strong muscle. Nitrogen is usually excreted through the urine, so nitrogen levels in the body are often measuring using a urea nitrogen test of urine. The results of the test and typically compared to nitrogen content of the individual diet. The person will generally be said to have a positive, negative or equilibrium nitrogen balance depending on the difference between its urea nitrogen level and the nitrogen content in its diet. The human body usually needs more than just protein to maintain appropriate nitrogen levels. Dietary protein should be high quality, such as the typically found in eggs and lean meat. The human body also generally needs an adequate supply of fat and carbohydrate. These macronutrients are widely considered essential to energy production. When dietary levels of fat and carbohydrate fall to low, the body uses protein for energy, which may deplete the body nitrogen level and inhibit the body ability to renew damaged cell. The figure highlights the dietary protein metabolism occurs in the body. Humans derive a small fraction of their oxidative energy from the catabolism of amino acids. Amino acids are derived from the normal breakdown of cellular protein, degradation of injected protein and breakdown of body proteins in life of other fuels sources during starvation or in uncontrolled diabetes mellitus. Proteases degrade injection protein in the stomach and small intestine. Most proteases are initially synthesized as inactive zymosan, and early step in the catabolism of amino acids is the separation of amino group from the carbon skeleton. In most cases, the amino group is transferred to alpha ketoglutarate to form glutamate. These transamination reactions require coenzyme pyridoxal phosphate. Glutamate is transported to liver mitochondria. When glutamate dehydrogenase liberates the amino group as ammonium, that is NH4 plus. Ammonia formed in the other tissues is transported to the liver as the amide nitrogen of glutamate or in transport from skeletal muscle as the amino group of alanine. Ammonia is highly toxic to animal tissues. In the urea cycle, ornithine combines with ammonia in the form of carbamyl phosphate to form citrulline. A second amino group is transferred to citrulline from aspartate to form arginine, the intermediate precursor of urea. Arginase catalyzes the hydrolysis of arginine to urea and ornithine. Thus, ornithine is regenerated in each turn of the cycle. The urea cycle results in net conversion of oxaloacetate to fumarate, both of which are intermediate in the citric acid cycle. The two cycles are interconnected. The activity of the urea cycle is regulated at the level of enzyme synthesis and by allosteric regulation of the enzyme that catalyze the formation of carbamyl phosphate. After removal of their amino group, the carbon skeleton of amino acids undergo oxidation to compounds that can enter the citric acid cycle for oxidation to carbon dioxide and water. The reaction of these pathways require number of cofactors including tetrahydrofolate, S-adenosyl methionine in one carbon transfer reactions and tetraiodobiopterin in the oxidation of phenylalanine by phenylalanine hydroxylase. Depending on their degradative end product, some amino acids can be converted to ketone bodies, some to glucose and some to both. Thus, amino acid degradation is integrated into intermediate metabolism and can be critical to survival under condition in which amino acids are significant source of metabolic energy. The carbon skeleton of amino acids enter the citric acid cycle through 5 intermediate. Number 1, acetyl-CoA, alpha ketoglutarate, succinyl-CoA, fumarate and oxaloacetate. Some are also degraded to pyruvate, which can be converted to either acetyl CoA or oxaloacetate. The amino acid producing pyruvate are alanine, cysteine, glycine and serine, threonine and tryptophan. Leucine, lysine, phenylalanine and tryptophan yield acetyl CoA via acetoacetyl CoA. Isoleucine, leucine, threonine and tryptophan also form acetyl CoA directly. Arginine, glutamate, glutamine, histidine and proline produce alpha ketoglutarate. Isoleucine, methionine, threonine and valine produce succinyl CoA. 4 carbon atom of phenylalanine and tyrosine give rise to fumarate, and aspargine and aspartate produce oxaloacetate.